Recent headlines about Americans' retirement planning point to big challenges. Social Security payments won't increase next year for just the third time in 4 decades. The Wall Street Journal says some companies are trying to force employees to save more. Well, only on CBS This Morning, the world's largest investment firm, BlackRock, is out with a new survey. It reveals how average investors are holding too much cash and shortchanging their future. Rob Kapito is president of BlackRock, which manages nearly $5 trillion in assets. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's a lot of money.
Is that trillion with a T?
Is that trillion with a T?
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah. So tell us what you found about cash.
Well, this is a very interesting survey because we found that people around the globe, and this is 31,000 people around the globe in the survey, are more optimistic about their financial future, and they actually know what they need to do, but they're not doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. And so we see that because people are sitting more in cash than ever before. And cash is not going to get you where you need to get to in retirement.
So they're being conservative even though they're optimistic about the future. Why?
Well, for different groups, some have gone through the financial crisis and they saw what can happen, and some of them saw their homes decline 50%, some saw their assets decline 50%, and most investors don't remember when they made money, but they remember every single time they lost money. But the millennials, they didn't have a house, they didn't have a lot of assets. They're actually investing. They're spending most of the time on their computer is about financial advice and financial information. So they are actually investing in the future. And a lot of people are also nervous in staying in cash because it's a security blanket. And they're very nervous about a lot of the headlines, and they just don't want to be in that position again.
Well, we know where it is and we know how much we got. That's why there's something very comforting about that when you have cash. But you're saying not a smart thing to do.
Or if we needed it right away, we could have it. That's
well,
just go in the mattress and pull it out, Rob.
What did you learn about men and women?
Well, it's very complicated because people know that they're going to live longer. When did living longer become a problem? So instead of spending 10 years in retirement, you're going to spend 14 to 18, and they haven't saved enough. So what's interesting about savings is there's a difference between men and women. Men are actually starting to save. Women are not saving as much as men. And the reason for that is because they control the household financials. They would rather spend today on their children than put away for their own retirement.
And women are living longer.
I honestly wouldn't say it's a choice. I mean, of course you're going to spend on your children. You know what I mean? Honestly, to talk about real, it's like, am I going to get my kids new shoes and a new backpack for school or save the money? I'm going to buy my kids the new shoes because they need the shoes to go to school.
But you actually have to save for retirement. You're going to be living much longer. And maybe if you take care of your kids really well, they'll allow you to move back in with them because you're going to have to move back in with them. And let me give you a statistic. This is sort of interesting.
Oh my gosh, you sound like my mother. She used to say that all the time.
It's sort of interesting. The average person claims that they need $45,000 of income for retirement. And if you take their assets today and what it's generating because they have so much in cash, they're only generating $9,000. Yeah. So there's a $36,000 gap, and you cannot make up that gap by staying in cash.
So where should we invite them?
Without respect to stocks or particular things, give us the rules that you think work in terms of what you do.
So everyone's risk profile is different, your age is different. But in general, most people in the early stages of their life should be 65% in equities and 35% in bonds and very little in cash. Yeah. Over your lifetime, that equity percentage declines and the bond percentage increases. Today, the average household has 65 to 70% cash. You can't invest for the future in the future. And what we're trying to create awareness about, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. So people need to get invested today, especially the millennials. And the millennials are actually doing this. They're spending time. They realize they need to use technology, but they also realize they need advice. And they're actually going and getting advice, and they're teaching the next generations how to do this.
Rob Kapito, very good advice from you.
Well,
Always
thank
good
you.
to see you.
Thank you.